Damn. Stuck all up in traffic again. Eddie Hearn and ticket prices. I don't know what's this man's fascination with ticket prices, especially when it comes to Deontay Wilder. It seems as if no matter what this man does, Eddie Hearn always feels this need to find a way to trash him. Like I remember when Deontay Wilder fought Ortiz for the first time, and the tickets were going, tickets were selling, and in America it's different. In the UK, I mean, it's not anymore. In the UK, before, when they had those weird things going on with the secondary market thing, they would have the secondary market just buy up all the tickets automatically, and then Eddie Hearn would have them, put out the tickets section by section, slowly, and he'd be able to make a killing off of it until the government put a stop to that, because they weren't supposed to be doing that. It's illegal. Government put a stop to that, and also the venues put a stop to that as well, because they didn't want to get in trouble. Then all of a sudden now, when Eddie Hearn started putting bouts on, they weren't selling out all off the bat anymore, especially with Anthony Joshua events, and it'd be thousands upon thousands of tickets that were still available by the time the show started, and they'd count 4, 5, 6, whatever thousand tickets, when before they used to just quote sell out in 2 minutes. So in the United States, it's also a little bit different. In the United States, people will buy tickets, but people usually buy tickets when it gets closer to the event. Regardless of how good an event is, regardless of how bad they want to see the event, they'll always chill. They'll always wait. It doesn't matter who's fighting. Floyd Mayweather versus Canelo, Oscar De La Hoya versus Floyd Mayweather. Tickets, they'll sell a bunch of them, but then they'll slowly taper, sell. And then when it gets really close to the event, that's when then most of the tickets will end up selling out then. That's how it kind of goes in the United States. Like me, I don't ever buy no damn tickets when they pop up. I'll wait. And sometimes I'll hit, sometimes I'll miss. I usually wait until a couple of days before the event. And then after the day before, 2-3 days before the event, and I try to get myself some, and I'm getting some, get some floor seats for a good price. For a good price, $500 or whatever it might be, $600, for big, for good events. It all depends, second row, third row, because the way I look at it, these secondary markets, they've grabbed it. A lot of them are going to make their money, but they're going to be some people who are not. And when it comes to the last minute, just a day, 2 before, somebody's gonna cave and drop the hell out them prices to try to make some of that money back that they spent. And when that happens, I got all my little spots that I go to, boop, grab them up, and I'm good. So when it comes to the Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, a huge portion of those tickets are already sold. So when he talks about, Eddie Hearn's talking about, only 60% sold, only 60, as if that's a bad thing too, with the prices that they had those tickets, some at 5,000, 12, 15,000. Like, you're talking about a substantial amount of money that they were offering for these tickets. So just even at 60% of those tickets sold, that means that event's already sold substantially higher than any event that Anthony Joshua's ever done in his whole career. Anthony Joshua versus Klitsch or whatever, it's already destroyed that, if you go with that amount that he's talking about. Because especially most of the tickets have been sold are the ones like the floor seats and things of nature. That's what's mostly been sold. So when you look at that, if you look at that, it's already destroyed. If we went by that 60%, it's already obliterated any event that Anthony Joshua has ever done by a long shot. By absolute long shot. But we all know that's the case. There are tickets available. There ain't no damn 40% that's available though. And they're doing good when it comes to ticket sales. And just like with that first event with the Ortiz, they're not selling. I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at every single week like, yeah, they're selling fine. And then when it finally got to the event the last week or two, pretty much, most of them continued to sell. And there was a substantial amount of people at that particular event. I'm at the event, I'm scoping around the whole thing, and the whole place is pretty much almost sold out. Then they comp most of the tickets. They comp most of the tickets. That's what they say, not understanding, again, this is America. In America, we get all, whatever's been comped, whatever's been sold, we get all that information from the commission. The commission always releases that information. So in the UK, they don't have that. They don't have commissions that release all that information. There's no third party that releases all that information. So someone like Eddie Hearn can say whatever he wants. He can say whatever he wants when it comes to the purses. He can say whatever he wants because there's no one, a third party that's actually putting that information out there. So, back to the tickets, from what we see so far, they're doing fine. He's complaining about the promotion of the fight. We see the promotion. The promotion is fine. Over here in America, we see the promotion everywhere. You're seeing like 10, 11 freaking damn commercials during the Super Bowl. 10, 11 commercials during the Super Bowl. So they're pushing the hell out of this fight. There's all types of shoulder programming that's going on for that particular fight. There's also online programming that's going on for that fight. And also when it comes to these pay-per-views, they really go ham also, especially the last 2 weeks. That's when they really go ham. And especially going into the last week, they really push to a whole other different level when it comes to it. So they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're absolutely doing what they're supposed to do when it comes to that fight. And when it comes to the quote ticket sales look like they're doing fine. And no disrespect, but at the end of the day, who really gives a F about that anyway? At the end of the day, we're getting an incredible fight. We're getting the most anticipated fight of the year. A lot of people think that Tyson Fury won the last fight. A lot of people think that, quote, he was robbed in the last fight. A lot of people, keep saying that, oh, well, they have a rematch. Everybody knows that, Tyson Fury is going to win the fight if they have a rematch. Everybody knows that's what's going to happen. So it's like, all right. Which is cool. So this is a type of fight that you want. Where a lot of people think this guy's going to win. A lot of people think that particular guy is going to win. But you don't know where there's going to be a lot of anticipation when the fight comes up. Pins and needles. Hyped up. Blood pressure's up. Heart's beating hard. When the fight starts, you're like, oh, you don't know what's happening. You're hooked. You're just, eyes to the screen. These are the types of events that that make boxing, that makes boxing great. These are type of events that you really wait for, like when Canelo versus Mayweather came up. You didn't know what was going to happen in that fight. All you know is Mayweather's looking small as hell. This kid is big as hell. He's strong as hell. Floyd Mayweather's like almost 40 years old. You don't know what's going to happen in that fight. That's the kind of atmosphere that was out there when it came to that particular fight. That's the type of atmosphere that came up when it was Oscar De La Hoya versus Floyd Mayweather. That's the type of atmosphere that was going on. And this is the type of atmosphere when it comes to this particular fight, because you just don't know. You just don't know. And, it's just incredible to me how someone can keep on trying to bash someone when it comes to whether their events or their pay-per-views or sales, whatever it is, when you're not doing anything even close to that when it pertains to fights in that particular country. What's Eddie Hearn and what's going doing with his bouts in America? What's he doing with his bouts? What's he generating? Last year you had, Mikey Garcia versus Earl Spence that did over 300,000 pay-per-views at $75 a pop, 40,000 plus at attendance. You had Earl Spence versus Sean Porter, that did over 300,000 pay-per-views. You had Keith Thurman versus Manny Pacquiao, which did, I think, 400,000 plus pay-per-views. You had Manny Pacquiao versus Adrian Broner that did, I think, 300,000 or 400,000 plus pay-per-views. So they're doing fine. They're cool what they're doing. What has Eddie Hearn done in America that has been on that particular level, that has generated that as much interest as those fights have done what those fights have done? It's nothing. Absolutely nothing. So it's just interesting, seeing someone talk the way that they're talking about an entity that's kind of obliterating them, when it comes to viewerships. That's number one. When it comes to the events. When you're sitting there and the only thing that you can continuously talk about is these guys and what they're doing. We need to talk about Charlo. We need to talk about Wilder. We need to talk about Earl Spence all the time. We need to talk about, continuously just keep talking about these guys. We need to talk about Gervonta Tank Davis. This is the state of your conversations when your guys are fighting and have fights coming up. That's what your focus is on. It's on this other entity that you trash on all the time, by the way. It's just interesting. You know what I mean? So I guess when Anthony Joshua, puts out his next event, let's see if it has the same fanfare as this particular fight that's coming up. Let's see if it has the same hype as this particular fight that's coming up. Let's see if it's the same talk about that particular fight as this fight that's coming up. And let's see if it generates what this particular fight's about to generate. Because we're not only talking, I have no idea what it's going to do when it comes to the United States pay-per-view. I've heard weird numbers get put out there like, 2 million. I don't think it's going to do 2 million, but I think it could do 1 million pay-per-views, this particular fight. I think in the UK it's going to do probably 1 million pay-per-views in the UK. That's also the other thing. Because Tyson Fury is also a part of it, and it is this big. It's not only about the money that they're going to be generating from the United States, it's also the money they're going to generate from the UK. The gate obviously is substantially high. Concessions are substantially higher than here than in the UK. People don't understand that. You got all those people that are in there, and you're talking about probably $100+ being spent from every single one of those people just when it comes to beverages and food. The parking. I mean, they're going to make a lot of money off of that. The site fee that Las Vegas probably put up in order to have that fight. All the sponsors, the amount of money that they had to pay in order to be part of this fight. They're going to make a killing off this fight. The absolute killing. And, some people keep talking. And some people just keep progressing and keep moving forward. And keep getting bigger and bigger. And that's what this particular entity seems to do. So, hey, let's see what the future holds. But Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, it's only a couple of weeks away, and regardless of what anybody says, it's going to be a big fight. It's going to generate a lot at the box office, on pay-per-view. It's going to generate a lot at the gate, and what's really important, all of us as fans are going to get a huge fight in the heavyweight division that we're all going to be looking forward to, a fight where we don't know necessarily who's going to win. It's going to be pins and needles. We're going to be at the edges of our seats. And that's what all boxing is about. And that's what Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury are giving us. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.